I'm Michael Nichols. My friends call me Nick. I'm an editor-at-large at National Geographic. I've been photographing there since 1989. I gave the exhibit the title Les Racines du Ciel, The Roots of Heaven. It's a famous French novel by Roman Gary about a man in Chad who tries to save elephants. War, desert, what are the elephants doing in Chad? It turns out there used to be 200,000 elephants in Chad, and when Roman Gary wrote this book, that was when the slaughter first started, and that was safari hunting. Well, I photographed there 2 years ago with a small ultralight airplane. Photographed a group of 800 elephants leaving the park to go out and find new forage, because rain brings new forage, and they leave the sanctuary of this little park. So I make that photo. That was the money shot. That was the picture I had to get. I almost died in this little plane because a thunderstorm ripped us out of the sky, but that was what we were after. So after I made that photo, which was a double page in National Geographic, that night, 20 of those elephants were slaughtered with machine guns. I took a GPS point of every carcass just to make an impact. Again, not intentionally, but we discovered elephants that were just in the worst possible situation. The only way we could photograph these elephants is go to places they had to go. You got to have water in the desert. We knew one particular water hole. We would hide there. And as the elephants would come, they're dying of thirst. The females would get there and be afraid to come to the water. And they would push a teenage boy. Get your ass down there and see if it's safe. Make him go. And if even a crack of a twig, a bird, anything, it would stampede away. It was just, and you realize these guys are living in complete terror. And as we put the puzzle together, we realized the groups of 800 were for safety, was for security. They were 800 elephants that didn't know each other. Why are these elephants being slaughtered? The ivory trade was banned a long time ago. It got under control. And then the middle class in China started getting a lot of money. And it just is part of that culture. Ivory is part of the culture, and it hasn't been exterminated yet in the culture. And China's investing hugely in Africa. It's a big environmental disaster in many fronts. I made this project. It made a lot of noise. But out there, we're always, can I someday photograph happy elephants? Everybody kept telling me, someday you have to go to Samburu. Someday you have to see the elephants the way they're meant to be seen. And so you start trying to plan that in the package. And I convinced National Geographic to let me do it, and I spent all of last year, well, 6 months of last year, photographing these elephants of Samburu. I knew all of these elephants. I knew their children because my guide was a young Samburu man who studied these elephants for 6 years. No binoculars, half a mile away, that's Babylon. Oh no, there's Cleopatra. So after a while I got to know which elephants I could do what with. I shot 100,000 pictures for us to publish 20. You know, basically everything that happened every day I photographed because I didn't know when something was going to happen. Elephants have been photographed ad nauseum. It was like, you're going to photograph elephants in a different way. So I knew I could get close to these guys. So I started this idea of putting the camera on the ground with the tripod on a stick. But I couldn't do this with the elephants on my initiative. So what I would do is get as close as I could with the car and stop, and slowly put the camera out, and then let the elephants approach. This is literally a less than 1-year-old elephant. That's his mom. She's grazing, she doesn't care. And he's approached the camera. He's about this tall. And it's at 7 in the evening, the sun's already gone down, there's just an afterglow, and my assistant's in the back of the Land Rover with a big giant flash, putting a little, but very weak power so it doesn't startle them. And what I would do, if I made a mistake, the mother would shake her head, and then I'd have to apologize for about an hour to get back in good graces. A lot of these elephants have satellite collars, so they know where they go when they leave the park, so they can help protect them. And every night at 2 o'clock till 5 in the morning, the satellite quits giving a signal. And he thought, they're laying down and covering up the collar. And they'd never been photographed, because it's incredibly difficult to follow elephants in the dark, if you can imagine. So we chose the most calm family. This is Navajo, it's the American Indians, and they're the calmest family that everybody knows. We kind of did a tag team, because it's really fatiguing to try to follow them. You get flat tires, the car breaks. But anyway, at 1 o'clock, they said, we've got them, we're still with them. And I went out, and they literally laid down one by one. And we were then able to, I put the tripod outside the car and made a 4-second exposure of the elephants by moonlight. And you can see the elephants breathing by the movement in the chest. Male elephants don't live with a family. They get kicked out of the group as soon as they become a breeding age, and then they wander around with other males. And Boone is a 65-year-old elephant that's just come into Samburu Reserve, and he's being greeted by Maya of the Poetics and her sister. And this is not sexual. This is purely, where you been, we love you, how you been doing, and I get all that information from the touching. And this went on for about an hour. And basically all the elephants in the Poetics greeted Boone in reverence. So that sets exactly the example that I was trying for. There's nothing particular about the photography here, just being there. And that's what I did for 6 months. I just get back in that car every day, stay all day, and just keep watching.